the Aphelios, now seeing these scaling picks, and still doing well, and still finding outplays like this, where Team Pending get the engage of a lifetime, but 100 Thieves Next still so far ahead. This looks so great for them going forward. Another kill picked up by 100 Thieves Next. They will clean up Robbie Bob. They will look to clean up Chookies. They're looking to clean up this game number one without much resistance coming through. Masu flashing over the wall to give Lens one more kill. Doesn't bring that much to a fight right now. Teleport being channeled. Team Pending want to commit to this one. And Katsuo taking so much damage before the fight really begins. Ultimate gonna come out from Lens, looking for more flashes over the wall. Goes on, the Chookies will take him down. But here comes one kill. No, it's not going to be picked up because Lens will still find the outplay. Masu arcane shifts away. A sniper looking to hunt him down. Puts up a pillar. It's a final flag to commit to the kill. Fnatic will clean it up.
Areas. We may well see a fight down in the bot side.
Almost sidestepping. Captain Shrimps joins. There's the package being used. APA starting to fall low here. Half health remains. Looking for the onslaught. Duo King backs off. Deep Learn running low. Needs to get the kill. Trying to get the bailout. Will get a kill. 1-for-1 trade though as Azog returns one. Ultimatum going to come out. Going on to Maryville University, but they lose another. Ginger Turmeric. They're feeling the momentum. They're feeling the fire. Trying to hop onto Zyko, and Iconic will net another kill. And suddenly 4 down is Maryville University. Looking for the end. A knock up with the 3 talent strike on the Azog, but Azog returns fire fast. He's looking to finish off kill. He'll take down kill. Another Zenith blink goes off. Is able to find the pick. Captain Trips doing big work, but is it enough? Running away is Maryville. Iconic survives. Guardian Angel gonna be popped by Captain Trips. It's the last stand coming in for Maryville University. Can they stand? Can they make it a reality? Captain Trips is trying to put in that nail and put down Maryville.
The coffin still standing though, 2v3. Deeplen sustaining off the creeps. One turret between the Nexus and AGT going to game number 3. They've done just enough Maryville to clear the wave.
Going for Maryville, clearing the wave now, but the tower's still gonna go down. Deep Learns by his lonesome. Iconic jumps in, but the damage so big by Captain Shrimps will burn his Guardian Angel. So
4
low
seconds on
is
Niles.
Captain Shrimps, but you can't get onto him. You can't take him down. Looking
Hit
for
Nexus.
APA. APA returning damage, but drops. Ginger Turmeric going for the Nexus. And they do it, yes! They can!
Yeah, welcome back to the Analyst Desk, everybody. I am liking that hype video. Real quick, before we get underway with the series, I do want to make a quick correction to a statement I made on our previous segment. I said that unless 100 Thieves Next wins the whole thing, Taco Gaming will be our 2 seed. That is inaccurate. The winner of finals will be the 2 seed if it's not 100 Thieves Next. So either Taco Gaming or Area of Effect, Ginger Turmeric, should they be able to win this series. So just want to put that one out there. But either way, I am still a Hawk. I am still joined by the one and only RMC and Mike Young, and we just came off a pretty insane 3-game series where Taco Gaming managed to pull through against AOE. Now we look ahead against 100 Thieves Next and AOE Ginger Turmeric. RMC, I'm gonna go straight to you. How are we feeling about this matchup?
You know what? After watching that last series, Hawk, I got hope, because everybody's saying 100 Thieves Next best amateur team. And deservedly so. They've got an amazing record, have been performing incredibly well. Most PGCQ wins, just one summer one, pardon me, as well here. But AOE Ginger Turmeric, I mean, these guys have beaten 100 Thieves Next before, and even though everybody seems to be voting for 100 Thieves Next here, if Taco can win, AGT can win.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of AGT can win, let's cast our minds back to the Open Qualifier where AGT did exactly that. They are the only team through now 20 games of Open Qualifiers over the course of the year to beat 100 Thieves Next. And 100 Thieves Next rosters looked pretty similar the entire time, so that is definitely no small feat. And I think a lot of that, is fair to say, started on the bottom side of the map. We saw in some of those highlights, Deep Learn and there you go right there. You can see the scoreboard from that game, but Deep Learn and Duo King have been doing quite a bit of work there on the bottom side of the map. And I'm just going to go straight to you, Mike Young. I mean, we were just coming off a series in which Gorka and Rovex played out of their minds I think it's fair to say we can see where bottom lane is having a pretty big impact in the current meta.
Yeah, we're going to be interested on what range supports that we might see from AGT compared to the conventional engaged supports. We just came off of a series where we were playing Pike, we were playing champions that could go in, can, peel back because they're melee. They have Braum that we saw in the previous series. So we're kind of switching that up now. We're kind of going into the range support territory. So there's like, as you see ahead, Sona, Senna against Lulu, Renata. Of course, there's the Tom Crunch there. But that's going to be interesting. It's going to change up how we're used to seeing the game. It's going to be a little bit less scrappy because you don't have that strong engage from like a Pike that can just hook and start a fight, or roam and get a pick. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, a little bit less scrappy, maybe a little bit more scaling. I mean, we can't even see still. It is a bit of a difference between the players' champion pools. Duo King almost playing more of those carry-oriented supports, where Sword really deciding to index into that utility. But RMC, I know, I think you have the stat on deck. 100 Thieves Next has the highest goal differential at 15, I'm pretty sure. So could that maybe cause problems for Ginger Turmeric's more scaling bot lanes?
For sure. I think it's kind of funny because AGT's support picks would suggest that they don't want to be scrappy. But AGT as a team tends to get a little bit scrappy, and not always to their benefit. 100 Thieves Knicks, on the other hand, yeah, I wouldn't call them scrappy, but they do play fast. They have the shortest average game time out of the top 4 teams at 26 minutes and change here. And you mentioned gold, Hawk. 4,200 average goal difference at 15 there. That is huge. In contrast, AOE Ginger Turmeric, they scrap, and they end up being down 1,800 gold at 15 minutes. So when you put this in context, Hawk, that's a 6k gold difference between these two teams at 15 minutes here. Yeah, I don't think AGT are going to get a skill if we're looking at 6k gold differences every game.
Yeah, that's a pretty substantial gold difference. You heard it here first. If it's not a 6,000 gold advantage at 15, we've been trolled by RMC's stats. I'm kidding, of course, but I mean that really does tell a story. 100 Thieves Next, they are super fast, and we've been talking about, for AGT, they can win the game through the bottom lane. Absolutely. Like if they're going to find a big advantage this series, that is where it's going to come. But I think we would be doing ourselves a disservice to discount the top side triangle, especially when it does come to 100 Thieves Next, where we have Darkwings in the mid lane, Fnatic in the jungle, and the Sniper himself in the top lane. I mean, that's a pretty star-studded trio, I think it's fair to say, Mike.
Yeah, most definitely we're going to be looking at what type of carry champions we're going to be seeing from Sniper. And I think that's going to be just an easy way to pick up a few leads, especially if you want to start the series with a win to start. There's pretty much almost like no chance if we put resources onto Sniper that he's going to fall behind. That's what I've been noticing just from history, even from last tournament as well. So I would say that although we just saw an upset in the eyes of like the predictions in the last series, I don't think there will be upset. I think 100 Thieves is one of the more stable teams when it comes to being like a top performer, and also they can play just as aggressive. It's not like they're a defensive scaling team.
Right.
They're down to scrap. They have the mechanics. So I don't think scrapping, AGT trying to scrap necessarily gives them a huge benefit because 100 Thieves has the mechanics.
Well, Mike, I do want to give one minor correction here because history repeats itself. And while Sniper generally doesn't lose lane and the team plays him, there is one game that happened, and we saw the scoreboard right there. It was against AGT in the OQs. And I don't want to highlight this also because throughout the group stages, or even the quarterfinals, AOE Ginger Turmeric has been using Moose Hater in the top lane. Moose Hater was not the top laner who beat Sniper. That was Existence, who played in the OQs all 5 games on carries, which are not, normally something we associate with him. We think more tanks for Existence. And tonight, Existence is back on the Rift to rematch against Sniper. So, you know what? That's the one top laner who's beaten Mike, and I'm sure Sniper is wanting to correct that particular record. So I'm curious to see if 100 can actually pour more resources into the top side to let Sniper take over the game like he normally does.
Yeah, it is good that you bring up that point, that Existence is coming back in. Top lane might actually exist this series. Haha, that's a little pun for you guys back home, but you know, we got a minute and a half or so, and you know, we're talking about, yeah, AGT, maybe they can win the series through the bottom lane, but we're expecting 100 Thieves next potentially to just be too much to handle. They've got the mechanics, as you said, Mike Young, to just shut that down. As we bring up the caster predictions, it seems like, again, everybody's in your favor. I think it is fair to say that it would be an upset if AGT won. And even though I already think I know where your allegiances are going to lie for this, tell me who you're taking and why with your predictions.
I'm going to go with 100 Thieves 2-0, just because they have the mechanics, but they also have the fundamentals. They have really good macro as well. So you just have the best of both.
Yeah, and that is a great point to bring up, actually, to just touch on briefly, is that macro. You know, they've been talked about how their coach Mist has been good about that kind of thing, and this team does seem to have a strong understanding of that. It's probably explaining why they've been a favorite through most of our tournaments. But RMC, are you in agreement here?
Well, I think 100 Thieves is a really good team, and it looks like they should win it. But I am an AOE fan. I've said before. I love AOE. I love AGT. I've been voting AGT the entire way, and they have not failed me. But for tonight, I'm really scared about predicting this, because I feel like if I predict 100 XO here, AGT win this. So, you know what? Maybe shift 100 Thieves next 2-0. Maybe I should have done that to support AGT. It worked for Taco.
Yeah, I was about to say, you did say before our last series that you were doing it because you wanted Taco to win, because, you know, if you predicted for Taco, it's going to go the other way. All right, I like it. We gotta have somebody in dissent. You know, you and Travesty united in controversy. I am loving it. I am slightly.
Thank you, producers. Thank you.
I'm going to slightly change things here. I'm going to take 100 Thieves next, but I'm only going to take them in a 2-1. I just feel like AGT, they are a team that always finds a way to win one game against all odds. I don't know what it is, so I'm kind of just banking on that happening at some point, but I do agree with you guys. 100 Thieves, they're looking just a little too good. But we're going to send it over to Jolly and Beatdown for the draft for game number 1.
Woo woo! All right, game number 1 in series number 2. And I guess, you know what, just to keep the tradition alive here, Beatdown, what is your prediction? We're not required to give these. But do you feel the same as most of the desk, or how
somehow you require it? That's I guess that's what I'm falling into.
Because you put me on the spot the first time, all right? I was gonna
that was like months ago. What happened?
Yeah, and it lives forever. Beatdown. What is your prediction?
Fine, my prediction is 2-100 next. I actually was talking. Yeah, I was talking about this series earlier, and I thought this was the more likely series to go to game 3. I'm just gonna, you know. Obviously was wrong about Taco, but it is what it is. I still think this will be a 3-game series. It will be fun though.
All right. So I was on the opposite side. I was kind of surprised that you were thinking that this was the series that was going to go to 3 games, because I thought that the previous series was going to go to 3 games, and I was right. I was wrong about.
But who did you say would win?
You know, we're not gonna.
All right.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah. Check yourself,
but
Joey.
I do have a feeling. You know what? I'm in agreement with Mike Young on this one. I think it's going to be a 2-0 in favor of 100 Thieves. I think that they, you know, the more that's on the line for them, the more they're willing to really put their nose to the grindstone. So I don't necessarily know if we're going to see anything absolutely crazy coming out of them. Maybe just consistency, which we're used to. So we'll have to see. But I do agree. Obviously, a team like 100 Thieves X, they end up putting most of their resources. They try to put as much as possible into Sniper, getting a snowball in the early start of the game. And once you get a kill, or like once you start the ball rolling for Sniper, there's pretty much no stopping him, and nobody else needs to support him along that journey. So we will have to see. Ginger Turmeric, obviously, they've had in the past, they have done really well against 100 Thieves. And like RMC was saying, it is Existence in the top side for this one. So we're not going to see Moose Hater coming through. And I know he was kind of, you know, struggling as well in this team. So I have a feeling that Ginger Turmeric is going to play well. I just don't see them taking a game today off of 100 Thieves X. I think there's too much on the line.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, there is a chance they did beat them in the OQs, but it's been some time. Things pass. And like you said, the more serious, the more later we get into the tournament, 100 Thieves do turn it up quite a bit. And it's going to be an exciting one because, of course, AGT, well, both teams trying to go for the finals. And 100 next, they're going for their third finals appearance if they manage to win out today. And, of course, the other two finals they played in, they won. So this will be a good start for them.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is following the trend, right? That 100 Thieves Next has really set up or established for themselves over the last while. I would say the last year and a half probably. And so they really have been performing well. I would be excited to see somebody dethrone the Kings, right? The reigning leaders basically take down this mega raid boss that has kind of been established within Amateur in 100 Thieves Next. I just don't know if Ginger Turmeric's going to be able to take it, but let's see. We're going to get into draft 1 for game 1 again, another best of 3. So no matter what, we're going to be seeing at least 2 games. And as it is higher seeding for 100 Thieves, they were able to make side selection to start, and they have decided to go with the red side, getting that counter pick ability for themselves.
Right, and what's going to be the priority early on? I think when we were talking about these matches in story the other day, one of the big things we talked about with this series was the bot lane. Of course, at the time, we didn't know Existence was going to be coming back in for Moose Hater again. But overall, we still think that bot lane is where a lot of the magic happens for both of these teams. I mean, most of the time, we're seeing the Kalista picked up for Lens. You're seeing it banned away for AGT. It is about very bot-focused, bot-centric gameplay and leaving Sniper on his own for the most part. And that's kind of true of AGT as well, especially because Deep Learn and Duo King are the ones who I think play the more unique bot lane pairings in the bottom lane. And when I say unique, I don't mean like, oh, that's interesting. No, I mean good pairings. Like even in their previous series, they brought out the Ashe, which I thought was really good. Ashe, with the prevalence of champs like Kalista as a champion, who I thought should see a lot more play, and I like that they're the ones bringing it up.
Yeah, the ban instantly coming, and that's actually, we've seen a lot of Kalista bans today. And that is pretty standard. Also considering, both of these ADCs like to run kind of like the Aphelios. So, it makes it easy to just say, all right, get out of here, Kalista. We're not going to include you, I guess, in the gameplay here. It's also been a lot of priority for, both of these teams for like Seraphine, for instance. But it is a lot of pressure against the top side of AGT, which is what we can expect because, like I said, 100 Thieves, they're going to be focusing and trying to get Sniper snowballing or rolling a little bit early on. And it's no big surprise that Ginger Turmeric isn't banning out topside too, because with Sniper, his champion pool is just too deep. It's almost not possible, but they are going to take that Aurelio away.
A couple really key picks are going to the wayside here, of course, for both sides, especially with Existence coming back in. We see the GP taken out of the picture. And now that we're seeing things like Kalista taken away, Draven priority, something that we've been talking about a lot today. We saw in the previous series. Aphelios, Jinx still in a position where they can be played, especially if Draven is off the table. What's the early prioritization for both of these teams here? It probably will be bot side. Will we see the B1 Gnar again? I doubt it. I hope not.
I don't know. I do like the Corky ban away. Captain Shrimps.
That's good.
Just too good. Too good on this champion. Absolutely worth banning away, literally for just this one player. You don't see anybody really pop off in the same way on the Corky that he does. And there you go. You were talking about the Ashe, and that's actually going to be the first lock-in here for AGT. On the other side, no huge surprise. Fnatic, a big fan of running this Wukong, also knowing he likes to run the Wukong too, another aggressive one that's going to be the first lock-in for 100 Thieves next.
Right, and they're already the jungle locked in there for Fnatic, a player we highlight a lot, even back in his time in Resolve last year. Now we're 100 next. Wukong is one of his preferred champions, and he gets a lot of damage done in the earlier parts of the game. And I'm interested to see what Keel will go for, because we know Keel exceptionally good with the farming junglers, your Karthus, Braves, things like that. He does a lot of good work. Lilia, but okay, I was curious to see if he was going to still go down that route. And although and do a good bit of farming and stacking gold with Gragas, you do have with that body slam a lot of early game pressure to be able to help enable your laners. Oh, so does Viego. Is that Gragas support? What are we looking at here?
So, I mean, it could be Gragas top, of course.
That's true. It could be Gragas top.
Gragas top has been very,
very
popular.
It actually, you're right. It bodies Gnar. It bodies, good point.
Gragas,
you're right.
Gragas is fantastic into Gnar and also really good coming into the later game stages, especially for somebody like Ashe, right, who doesn't have a lot of survivability on her own. I have been very surprised that we have seen such a big drop in Zeri because she is still incredibly strong, especially when we're talking about having capacity to side lane, right? Having a little bit of self-sustainability as well as that early game damage. So that will be the lock in here for 100 Thieves next. And yeah, I mean, I like the Gragas, that response. Clearly, Ginger Turmeric says, okay, we're going to lock in the Ashe, and then we're going to try to do some counter playability here. And you know how much I hate and love Viego beatdown, because he is just
Tell me
insane.
about it.
Even if he falls behind, he's one of those, him and Gwen. I swear to God, even if they fall behind, even if they're in
I
a
remember
losing
you talking
matchup,
about this.
Exactly. Seriously, it's insane how much survivability and sustainability you're able to have. Given his ultimate with the Heartbreaker, his ability to get in or out of these fights, he's just disgusting and should definitely be one that you got to watch out for always.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're seeing some of these last picks come through. Of course, we're seeing the Yuumi banned away just because it's such a good pairing with the Zeri. And you do have that earlier game pressure with the Ashe into the Zeri, but you're okay with giving that up just because of the fact that, one, you have the Wukong, who's going to have a big impact in the game earlier on. And the fact that, I mean, if as long as you get through the laning phase, it's fine. Like, Zeri scales like a monster. It's not 12-14 yet. She's not bad yet, so this is fine.
Yeah. You know, there is still, like the Lulu was one for a long time. The Renata Glask is still up, of course, and she has been high priority for both of these teams. And I would say both of these supports as well, both Sword and Duo King, doing a really good job with the Renata Glask. It's going to be the Swain as the lock-in here, though, for 100 Thieves next.
Which is interesting.
Please be Swain support.
That's what I'm thinking too, because of the fact that usually, like, picking mid here is really interesting. Like, you're on red side, it's better in my opinion to give Darkwings that counter pick. So maybe that's the bait and it's Swain support, and we're gonna see a different mid laner picks here on the bottom. But the Karthus, this is what we talked about. Keel on these farming jungle picks, so good. He farms so efficiently. It's insane the kind of gold numbers he manages to put up, and the fact that is you know what, I just remembered it's well, it could be Viego lane. Honestly, I got a lot of questions about who's going where, so we'll see. I'm holding off.
I love this. Seriously, I'm looking at AGT's draft and I'm like, yes, I'm digging this. And you know what's funny is I kind of had a feeling that this Ashe was going to be a flex Ashe. We've actually seen the Ashe support as well being picked up, and that's what is going to be run as. So I was kind of questioning that. It is that mid lane Karthus, so it is going into the Swain, because as we can see for the final lock in 100 Thieves, they are just going to go with the Nautilus, which is a good matchup here with the Zeri, but I think they were also kind of confused by some of the selections that AGT has locked in. Either way, you know how much I love flex picks. You know that, and so I'm all about AOE Ginger Turmeric's composition. Whether or not they can actually pull it off, though, and survive the early parts of the game, that is my concern for them.
And I mean, this bot lane from AGT, really common. It's one of the most. It's one of the most ones they run a lot of the time. So you are going to have a lot of range, a lot of poke. You will be squishy though. So I imagine Fnatic going to be throwing a lot of attention on the bottom side of the map, like he so often does in a lot of 100 Nexus matches. And I mean, the same could be said about AGT. You're happy with top lane in isolation, especially as Existence being that Gragas in the matchup. So Keel can path towards that bottom lane, help Deep Learn and Duo King get those leads so they can play on those range advantages they have.
And this is, they've run the Misfortune. They ran the Misfortune in Ashe. I'm thinking, last week we had this matchup here as Ginger Turmeric went up against CLG Faith, and they made it work incredibly well, especially with the, Gnar on the opposite side, the Nautilus. But we're going to be heading into game number 1 here to see who makes it into the finals today, as this is the semifinals for Proving Grounds Closed Qualifier number 2. It's AOE Ginger Turmeric on the blue side, 100 Thieves X on the red side, and Beatdown. It's you and me once again.
That's right, it is Jolly again. Game 1, both of these teams trying to get the second final spot. The first one, of course, claimed by Taco Gaming. One side, of course, 100 Thieves next. We refer to them as the top of amateur for so many years now, even before Proving Grounds existed. Now, the Proving Ground system this year, they're looking for their third final appearance. And it's worth noting, in the summer split, they are 34-2 in match score. And one of those losses was AOE Ginger Turmeric in the OQs, like the desk highlighted. So AGT looking to keep that up, repeat history if possible, and then they can be the ones to get their first finals appearance.
Exactly, and they're definitely looking for that. We were talking about AOE and their opportunities to try to get into the finals, and they've made it into all of these semifinals, one of their teams, because of course they've got Ginger Turmeric, they've got AOE, they've got randoms, they have a bunch of teams in the works, and 2 of them are in the semifinals today. So they definitely want to be able to pull this one out for themselves, since AOE Gaming just got knocked out in the previous one. And I like this draft. Like I said, from Ginger Turmeric, I like the draft. I do think that it's going to be a struggle for Darkwings now here, as Captain Shrimps has the Karthus. That's going to be a really easy lane. That means that you have to go, a little bit more sustainability as this Swain, probably Imperial Mandate, just so that he does not fall incredibly far behind.
And actually, it's looking like Fnatic will be pathing towards the top side, at least for the earlier parts of this game, just to see maybe there's a gank opportunity on that top side. If you can get a little help over towards Sniper, get him the better end of that matchup, could do a lot of good for 100 Thieves next overall, especially because, I mean, you could dive with the Viego or Keel here, but I'm not sure that's exactly what we're going to see early on.
A little bit behind the hot shot there. Can show eyes on Fnatic, so they do know that Fnatic is pathing upwards. It is Sniper, who's already got a lot of pressure up there onto Existence, so not really much of an opportunity to find a gank anyway. That means that Fnatic might be able to poke his head into the mid side. Like I was saying, this is not a very good lane for Darkwings, and it's interesting to see that actually a blue side, which normally has counters picked against them, has actually been pretty successful with some of the counter picks on their own, aside, of course, from this one here in the top, where Existence was able to pick against Sniper's Gnar.
And so far, Sniper getting the early advantage here, getting the early shove, making it a lot easier for Fnatic to be able to fight for that first Scuttle Crab. Not a whole lot is really going to come through, so probably after junglers get their first clears, that's when we're going to see things start to pop off a little bit more. I mean, with the Spot Brow, AOE Ginger Turmeric could look to Dragon Stack if they wanted to, or they could just continue. They could just farm things out until that first Rift Herald spawns.
Mm-hmm. And I am excited to see the early Ashe pickup. I'm sure for Under Thieves next, they were pretty aware where that Ashe was going, because Ashe support is pretty much her mainstay as of right now. We've seen a lot of her in that support lane. We haven't really seen her being picked up as an ADC, because she's more valuable to run that more AP style, run the mandate, trying to get that cooldown reduction on her volley to be able to just use the utility for some of these team fights. Yeah, right? And not just that, but you also know, I'm sure you've heard me mention how much I love global ultimates. And
yeah,
that
that's
Enchanted
right.
Crystal Arrow is pretty insane.
Oh, there's also the Requiem on Captain Shrimp's side. So you get
point.
2 globals right there.
Dude, I'm happy. I'm happy about that.
Are you happy? How happy? Scale of 1 to 10, Jolie.
I'm so happy. Scaling 10.
oh, scale of 1 to 10.
Scaling, haha, you see what I did there? Because we definitely do have the scaling for that shape at least.
True.
Heal, maybe trying to make some sort of move onto Darkwings, but Darkwings easily able to see that Hallowed Walkway and avoid being ganked early on.
And I mean, just talking about some of the players here we have in this game. I mean, we mentioned Fnatic on the Wukong, how good he tends to be, especially in the earlier parts of the game. He's a player, actually, a lot of us wondering why he hasn't gone into Academy just yet. All of last year, one of the top performing junglers. Now, still, of course, doing really well for 100 Thieves next. Still smurfing it. Hopefully we'll get that opportunity soon.
Yeah, hopefully will. There are a lot of players, that we have seen either progress on to Academy, to LCS. We've seen so much growth in the players coming from Proving Grounds or the path to LCS, really, and definitely some of the players that we're just kind of waiting to be picked up, right? Waiting for these teams to say, all right, we need to replace the best of the best, because they have, in fact, moved on up to either an Academy team or, maybe subbing for an LCS team like we've seen in the past here. Pretty standard start, though. I mean, it's going to be a slow one, right? Neither of these compositions really allows for much early aggression. Yes, early damage and maybe some solid trades, but not a lot of gank ability for either of these teams just yet.
And I mean, you're looking at level 6, which is starting to come through for the solo laners. Probably being a big spike for 100 Thieves next. Once you get access to that Gnar ulti, Swain ulti, and when Fnatic gets level 6, that's the big one too. We're still a few minutes away from the Rift Herald, and I still think that's where we're going to see actual early fighting come through. But right as I say it, 100 Thieves are like, hey, what's going on here?
They do try to poke in, but they're not going to be able to get close enough. They might be able to maybe initiate a fight here, but it's really solid positioning actually coming out of Duo King and Deep Learn to sort of proxy off the lower portion of that river. So first dragon pretty quickly being picked up here by AOE Ginger Turmeric. They do have a little bit of an advantage on this one. But I like that sneak away and early dedication as well to these objectives. Look at the amount of damage the Deep is taking here. The Ignite does come through. Fnatic is going to get exhausted. Is it enough damage? Yes, the Ignite from Sword picks up first blood for 100 Thieves next.
Really nicely done for 100 Thieves, and that's kind of the thing that AOE Ginger Turmeric are facing all across the board when you think about it. The all-in from 100 next, it's really good. We just saw Sword, but it's Fnatic, Sniper when the ultimates come through. Is that Ginger Turmeric? They're really going to have to rely on, well, one, their ability to space, and later on, Existence, that exploding cast, to be able to keep the fights a little more in their favor here. But we're already starting to see some success from 100 Thieves in this early game.
Yeah, that was that's a lot of damage coming out. And of course, it was Sword that ends up getting the first blood. Not the worst thing in the world, but at least it's a little bit of something that AOE Ginger Turmeric can consider and say, hey, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been Lens that picked that one up, you know. It could have been anybody else. And it was instead Sword with the Ignite. And there are now a lot of summoner spells down on the side here for Deep Learn and Duo King. That means 100 Thieves. That's it. They recognize this is a huge opportunity. Lens is all alone, but it doesn't matter. In comes all of the rest of 100 Thieves next, and it's Fnatic that actually manages to pick up that kill in the bottom.
It's beautiful. Just taking advantage of the fact that no sums on Deep Learn means it's an easy second kill coming through, and that's 0-2 for the bot lane, or for the AD carry of AGT. So much pressure on this bottom side, kind of like we were expecting. But that does give AOE Ginger Turmeric that early access to the Rift Herald on the top side of the map. Will they be able to actually, will Keel be able to actually finish it is the question. Sword is already in the area. Fnatic's walking back. Could try and do something.
Could. Existence is right there, and we can see Captain Shrimp's actually navigating his way up just so that they're at least safer going into this one, especially now with the fight between AGT. Oh my gosh, a Sniper coming through. The beautiful explosive cast. Is it going to be enough? It will when it comes to the ultimate from Captain Shrimps, and down goes Sniper.
There it is, Jolly. One of the ultimates that you like so much. That's up for a nice kill for Captain Shrimps, but Fnatic will come to pick up the pieces. Says, sorry, Existence, that one comes at a cost. Gonna be able to pick up yet another kill here. So 1 for 1.
1 for 1, but 2-0-1 for Fnatic right now. He did end up flashing on that, so Existence does have both summoner spells up and available, but I think Fnatic thinks that's more than worthwhile, especially immediately after his gank on the bottom side that resulted in a kill for himself and an assist. Now he picks up some more momentum in favor of 100 Thieves next, and it's still under 10 minutes in this game where 100 Thieves are starting to find themselves a bit of a gold lead.
And I mean, and speaking of, like, look at Keel. He picked up the Rift Herald, and he's got a pretty noticeable CS lead over Fnatic right now. Fnatic, who's been showing up for all of his laners here or there just a little bit, has given Keel that opportunity to be able to at least so far outpace him in terms of farming. That's something about this player we highlight very often. Good, very efficient pathing, very efficient farming, and you find himself that if you don't find these early leads from plays, you're just gonna look at Keel's CS and you're like, oh. What happened?
Sniper probably looking for something here. Out comes the ultimate. The flash is going to be used to avoid getting locked down one more time. That means Sniper doesn't pick up the kill, but can Darkwings come in and clean up that mess that he has left? Out comes the ultimate from Darkwings. It's a lot of damage. He's gonna blow the ghost as well, and Existence will very likely end up going down right here, right now. Yet another kill in favor of Darkwings. Ooh, a nice little attempt there with the explosive cast, but that means it's an ultimate down for Existence when he returns to lane.
That's right. So it ends up being a nice play from the solo laners of 100 next to just continue racking up the kills on the board. And you can see it start to show in the gold lead they have for themselves here. Big thing too, Fnatic, early Mythic coming through with that Divine Thunder Rush. The big spike going into what could be a fight in and around this dragon in about 40 seconds time. And now we're looking at Keel. He's looking for the opportunity to drop the Herald. Probably not going to get a turret break, but should get some nice plate gold unless...
The Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Keel says, yeah, go for it. You can hit me.
Oh my
gosh,
Sword
with the rune, he's going to find the counter play.
Damn, Sword said, I'm a support, but went in for that kill, and there you go. Again, it seems like almost every play Ginger Turmeric are going for 100 Thieves. They managed to get us something in return. Yeah, it's gold on a support, but it's still time. Actually, it's big because Keel doesn't even get to drop the Rift Herald in the end because he's off screen. And with the time really starting to tick away from that, you get the opportunity to go for Dragon, and Keel's not going to get the opportunity he's hoping for, at least one of the best ones, to be able to drop the Herald. It's going to end up most likely being rushed.
Yep. Definitely not what you want. especially with that first one, being able to pick it up pretty early and not actually getting the pressure that they were looking for somewhere on the map to be able to throw down that Herald and either pick up all of the plates necessary, or honestly, the best part is to try to secure the very first tower of the game and get yourself that bonus gold. Now, Sniper, maybe a bit of a sticky situation. He does have his jump, so he'll be able to hop over the backside of the wall, but he is going to go back over to his jungle because you can see the pings coming out Existence, trying to throw down some vision there towards the top side. Now a little 1v1 between Darkwings and Captain Shrimps. Fnatic is in the back though. Cyclone not even needed here as Fnatic just jumps over the wall. But there it is. That global ultimate we were talking about is going to be enough damage onto Fnatic. Will the burn do it? Not if Lens comes in to save the day with the heal.
Man, that was a close one. Nice play. Again, Fnatic, we keep talking about he's able to find these angles, set up these plays, and get successful kills coming through. Yes, Keel will drop the Rift Herald. Maybe a little less opportune than he might have hoped. It will be gold going only to him, which, I mean, considering the farm lead he has, it is very welcome to allow him to keep pace with Fnatic. But overall, Fnatic getting a good, or rather, 100 Thieves Next, getting a good bit of what they want in this early game. They got the second dragon. They limit the use of that second Herald, and I mean, they're up 4 kills.
They're up 4 kills, and, you know, 2 of those kills that they have are on to Deep Learn. And trying to set Deep Learn back as far as possible is really going to make it almost impossible for Duo King and Deep Learn to have a really big impact towards the later stages of the game. At that point, you're looking more at the utility, especially based on the fact that both these players have gone Comet. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of the damage from that E, from Deep Learn, that they're looking for here. And they're not really going to receive it with the pressure that has been placed here by primarily Lens and Sword, who have done such a good job.
Yeah, and you can see Lens, a bit of a lead there. 20 CS up, and of course the 2 assists are contributing to that extra bit of gold. He just completed the call as well, so it's going to get pretty close, if not already ready to complete that shield bow here. But after that push, you can see Swords on the move, looking to see if he can have an impact elsewhere, at the very least set of vision. So when that next dragon comes, 100 Thieves Next can prioritize it.
And Darkwings, very confident here, actually didn't go the mandate like I was thinking. Ended up finishing the Leandres as that first item.
Nice,
so has a stopwatch available. But that's aggro, right? And this is a situation, too, where Swain probably would have had a much more difficult lane. A nice little Hex Flash there, but avoiding out of that one. Now, Darkwings getting a lot of damage here onto Captain Shrimps, taking a lot himself, but in comes the Cyclone. The flash away from Captain Shrimps is not going to be enough. And that was right after the teleport was used.
Right, so that means both sums gone for Captain Shrimps. Oh, hold that thought. No, Sword is fine.
Sword's A-okay. That was the bullet timeout, so both of the ultimates coming down. Duo King, of course, is going to have some of that cooldown reduction available, so it's not going to be long before that Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through. But in the meantime, 100 Thieves Next found pressure in the top side and was able to get that extra gold with the first tower being taken down.
That's a big deal. I mean, Sniper has been getting the better of this matchup so far. You see it in the CS lead, has the assist from Fnatic showing up earlier on, and gets that first bonus gold and is actually halfway to completing a call of his own. Calls across the board, it looks like, inside of 100 Next. But that means that this Gnar is really fed right now, and Sniper is in a good position to do damage, to be able to continuously be that frontline threat and the dive threat as he jumps over the wall.
You can see he was trying to look for the ultimate there, jump onto Existence, use the ulti to get out. That wasn't available, though, and Existence does have that explosive cask. So maybe, you know, the opportunity to escape if it was committed by Sniper. But a little bit of pressure is more than enough. Having that first tower means now Sniper is going to be able to do a little bit of roaming and try to focus more on getting these objectives secured for the team. And, you know, kind of focusing out as well the pathing of AOE Ginger Turmeric.
And now my eyes are on the Rift Herald that Fnatic has gotten there. The second one of the game means that he's likely going to be dropping that one in the mid lane just because it's so close to Dragon Time in less than a minute. Means that you can just drop it mid, easily walk down to set up the dragon here. You can see it. Mythics are online pretty much across the board here. So we're at a point where both of these teams, I think, are feeling pretty confident in their ability to fight. Even though AOE Ginger Turmeric are actually down a good bit of gold, this wouldn't be the worst time for them to take a fight.
It's true. Yeah, because, you know, worse things happen, right? You get down further in gold, and then you have to take fights when you're even farther behind, when it's later in the game past that 16-minute mark, where you're looking at 2 to 3 items on members. Right now, it's still just like 1.5 that most of these members have been able to build. So that means Ginger Turmeric found a little bit of pressure here in the mid lane, and they've been able to at least even out those towers. It doesn't quite mitigate the gold difference that 100 Thieves Next currently has over them, but little by little, Ginger Turmeric can continue to stay in this game and not allow 100 Thieves to snowball. In the meantime, of course, we can see Sniper just focusing down this side lane all on his own, and the damage that he's able to deal might allow him to secure the second tower.
Yeah, it's going to be nice and easy here, and it's AOE Ginger Turmeric who are going to get that second dragon. 100 Thieves Next not contesting it in any reasonable way, as they're just going to use this Rift Herald that they've picked up to be able to threaten that mid-tier 1. It's not going to get a break, but, I mean, the turret's low enough now that, you know, a light breeze, a sneeze maybe, would be enough for 100 Thieves to be able to get that one under their belt. Instead, Fnatic goes for the counter jungling, goes to Shadow Sniper a little bit, and 100 Thieves Next just find themselves walking away with a sizable gold lead.
Oh yeah, and take a look at the vision as well that has been placed on the top side map there by 100 Thieves Next due to that deep pathing from Sniper and Fnatic as well to back him up. So if Ginger Turmeric does end up trying to push forward on this lane, if there is an opportunity where somebody's just stuck in the middle of the jungle, then 100 Thieves Next has the ability to make a bit of a play towards their side of things. They also have it very defensive on their bottom side of the map, as we can see, to maybe try to set up for the following dragons in the game, maybe get a little bit more pressure towards the mid and the bottom side of the map, since they already have so dang much on the top side.
Now, Dark Wings, is he going for it?
He's absolutely going for it, does not care, knows that Sword is in the wings.
Stop
There's
watch.
the stasis that he's going to be able to use. Keel barely dodging out on the depth charge, but Duo King is in the back. Deep
Dark
Learn
Wings
is
is still
also there
alive.
looking for something. In the meantime, the Cyclone comes out, and that means Existence is going to fall after teleporting into the fight. It still just ends up being a 1-for-1, though. Oof. Not going to hit with the ultimate from Lens, sorry.
But Jolly, 1-for-1? And Sniper wasn't even there. Again, he's just racking up turret gold. As you can see here, as he's probably not going to be able to take this one down, but he's gotten so much gold and XP just from farming all these extra waves, and he's got all this turret threat while his team is going pretty even in a lot of these trades. Unless he, I mean, he has Flash, he's probably fine.
He does. He's got Flash. He also knew that, I think the big part, and there's the Heartbreaker coming out from Keel there, he's like, all right, you know what? I will kind of overstay my welcome here a little bit, see how much I can get out of these guys, because all it's going to be is a few more seconds before I can start stacking up that Mega Gnar rage once again. In the meantime, Lens trying to coerce these members of Ginger Turmeric out of their tower range here. Fnatic and Sword both in the wings. They're going to have to run away, though. Existence has made his way down here, and they were spotted out by that ward that Duo King placed over the top side of the wall.
Yeah, still, even now, you're seeing all that pressure on that bottom side of the map here from 100 Next, just trying to make sure Deep Learn and Duo King have the worst time possible. And I mean, so far, they've at least been partially successful in that regard, and it's starting to show. Like, you can see all these turrets that they've gotten for themselves. It's 3-1 right now in terms of the turrets going down. And with top lane being able to be pushed in so deeply, it actually makes it easier for 100 Next to be able to set up for the dragon on the opposite side of the map, and of course go for the Baron when that comes up soon. Although I don't think we'll see a 20-minute Baron just yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence for 100 Thieves right now, but, at the moment, maybe they get a little bit of pressure elsewhere on the map because they have those two top towers. It does give them a nice little opportunity, especially with Sniper having dropped at least that tier 1 tower and almost entirely taking down the tier 2 tower in the mid. It is certainly going to get harder and harder for GTC to be able to actually defend their own lanes and that side of the map in general, and that is part of the reason I think they're focusing so much on the bottom. That's where they're finding at least some of these trades for themselves, at least a little bit of priority. But it's getting more and more dangerous because 100 Thieves, we can see that confidence coming more into play, right? The deep vision that they've got and the willingness to go in on some of these risky plays where they catch somebody out in the jungle but might not know where the rest of the team lies.
I love it. Production reading my mind. I was just about to ask for a gold check just because of how much turret gold Sniper's been picking up solo, and it's really starting to show here. He's up about 700 on Captain Shrimps, who is the second... has the second most gold in this game, and then the rest, Darkwing's Lens, not too far behind. It shows that second item comes through for Sniper. He's going to go for that extra bit of MR there.
Ooh, yeah.
Be able to
And
help
the
himself
attack
load in some
speed.
of these. So yeah, and attack speed, good point.
So
A little
good.
bit of on-hit damage since we're naming everything that item does.
Right.
Wits End, that's what it
Since
was. I'm not
everything
gonna lie,
was-
Jolly.
I was wondering
I was
if you were-
stalling the whole time trying to
tell.
remember the name of the item.
I could tell. I gave you some leeway though, okay? Because
Thank
I
you.
kind of had that feeling.
You're so
All right?
nice.
Yeah, I know. I try. All right, take it while it lasts.
Yeah, true. You're gonna ask
Um,
me for my thoughts next game, aren't you?
Yeah. I do. I love that item. Honestly, having the additional on hit and the attack speed is seriously reason enough to say, hey, if I can make use of that magic resist, let's do it. That item is huge, and I will sometimes even get it here on the Gnar as a second item when there isn't a ton of AP damage, just because of the amount that it offers for you to be able to stack up, get to Mega Gnar a lot quicker, and be able to utilize that ultimate that works so well in the team fight stages of the game.
Speaking of team fight stages, Dragon number 3 for AOGTC. If they want to go for it, and it's looking like the fight is here.
Oh my, it's a massive lockdown into Dark Wings. We'll have to go into stasis here right after using the ultimate sniper onto the backside. The Cyclone as well coming out from Fnatic, who flashes into this when Existence now has to just run away, and the ultimate being burned by Captain Shrimps is not going to be enough to pick up a kill. Maybe actually out of Dark Wings. Yes, there it is. The Leandry's burn coming into play, so at least one member going down for 100 piece, but it was 3 that went down for GTC as well as that Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, 100 next, definitely happy with that exchange here, and we're going to see it in the replay how this one broke down. This is a big dragon that 100 Thieves needed to deny from AOE Ginger Turmeric, and you can see the angle. Again, being able to make sure you don't get engaged on, especially with Existence's ultimate, is how I think AOE Ginger Turmeric win these team fights. But the thing is, currently Existence is on the flank, and before he can actually be a part of the situation, well, somebody has already gone down, and at that point, Exploding Cask doesn't do a whole lot. Existence, whole team has fallen before he can become part of the fight there. And I think part of the decision to pull the trigger there is they had that ward by the red buff that showed Existence pathing. So 100 next, we're like, oh, 4v5? All right.
And it worked out well for them because the timing as well for Dark Wings to be able to burn the Zonias immediately as the bullet time comes out from Deep Learn. And right as that bullet time came out, Sniper was the main one that was getting hit, but he had just transformed into Mega Gnar. He was able to jump back. It forced the flash out of Deep Learn, who also had to break their own ultimate from continuing on and getting the damage down. So really just kind of the follow-up that we're expecting to see that works out so incredibly well for 100 Thieves is playing perfectly into their hands.
Playing perfectly for them pretty much most of game 1 here, Jolly. And you can see it. This gold lead just continues to grow. 100 Thieves next in a position where they can actually go for a potential Baron play and go for the turn and burn if they really want to here, especially with Sniper being such a monumental side lane threat. Level 14. He's up like 60 CS on Existence. And it shows in the itemization between the two of them here.
Nice little jump there by Sword. Means the Enchanted Crystal Arrow's not going to hit. And hey, who's there on the backside? None other than Fnatic, who's able to just clone over the wall using that Cyclone on top of it. In comes Lens. On the backside is Dark Wings. That means Duo King's not going to get out alive. Sniper following the chase here, trying to track down Keel, who's going to have to Heartbreaker over the wall just to get out alive. And there's still 3 members of 100 Thieves next, potentially on the run, but they are going to accept defeat on that and instead just head over towards the Baron, maybe trying to provoke Keel to come out and attempt a steal here. Existence is the other member of this team that is still up and alive, so there's quite a bit of survivability available here. Explosive cast still available. It's a lot of damage now that 100 Thieves are taking here. Sniper no longer has Mega. Keel goes over into the pit. Fnatic taking a lot of damage, but it's going to be enough. And the bounty goes to Keel, who's able to steal that smite. Still, the members fall of GTC, so it's only applied to Deep Learn and Duo King, at least in terms of that Baron buff. But still, now let's see if the burn will be enough for Sword, not when he has a shield of his own.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be fine in that one, but still, the steal does kind of slow how big of a buff this would have been for the side of 100 Thieves next, and we're going to see the replay of it too. Like, look at the Baron is doing a lot of damage here, and Fnatic is tanking most of it. So at this point, Existence knows, like, hey, we can go in now. And Dark Wings actually kind of forces him in there by hitting the Blast Cone. Maybe not expecting him to be right next to it, but either way, it gets him into the pit. It allows Keel to steal the Baron, but he does as well as Existence. So ultimately, you kind of just make the play a little better for you because 100 Thieves winning that fight and getting the Baron would have been hugely detrimental.
Yeah, and I think there was only 2 members because if I'm not mistaken, it was either Duo King or Captain Shrimps, one of the two who was, I mean, 2 seconds away from respawning to be able to get that buff, but they weren't actually spawned in time for it. So very minimal members that did end up getting that buff application, but they are these members that can at least do a little bit of split pushing on their own, and they have been able to get about 1,000 gold off of this Baron buff, and also, you know, the gold from the objective itself and being able to steal that away from 100 Thieves next. Again, maybe not mitigating as much damage or as much pressure as AOE would have liked to see coming here, but something is anything, right? It's better than giving a Baron buff over to 100 Thieves next. And at least Ginger Turmeric is able to defend some of their towers like this bottom tier 2 as we're seeing.
Right, and that's part of what the Stolen Baron buff ends up helping AOE Ginger Turmeric with. They are going to lose the mid tier 2 in the process, but it's like you said, they're still able to minimize some of their losses here. As we're going into this next dragon fight, this will be soul point for 100 next. I think AOE Ginger Turmeric are likely just going to let that one go, continue farming things up, try and take that remaining outer turret on the top side, other end of the map, if the opportunity presents itself, and try to get gold that way.
There it is.
Ooh,
Ulti's
goodbye.
coming out all over the place. The Explosive Cask not doing much, but it's Sniper's ultimate that really makes a difference there, being able to pick up the kill onto Existence.
It's a nice pickoff. Does mean that you still have the opportunity to go topside, like I was talking about, and we're seeing Captain Shrimps do that to maybe try and get some extra gold here. But it is going to be an easy dragon secure, and that'll be Mountain Soul Point. 400 Thieves next because of it. Oh, Shrimps is in trouble.
There's the pings coming out. We see not just the
Oh,
TP
he
from
doesn't
Sniper,
know.
but the pings he doesn't know, and if he does, he knows right now that he is not going to make it out alive. Darkwings is here too. Not really necessary though. Sniper's going to be able to pick that one up. A nice enchanted crystal arrow actually forcing Darkwings
wow.
to take so much damage from that passive of Captain Shrimps, almost securing the kill. So very well played by Duo King in response.
Yeah, but it doesn't end up being as much as they hope here. Fnatic, though, is in a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble, especially with the teleport from Existence coming through. That's a nice pickup Turmeric find for themselves, and slowly minimizing the gold lead that 100 Thieves have created for themselves.
It's a nice shutdown. It's more gold into Keel's pocket as he's already 2 items deep and ready to buy just a little bit more. And you give yourself that opportunity to push mid, actually clear your jungle camps, and hopefully clear the insane amount of vision that kind of leaves of plays on either side. You know what I mean? And can I just
clearing,
say, I love. It's just such nice word placement from 100 Thieves too. They got the triangle perfectly set up there with pink wards. No one can walk through that jungle without 100 Thieves knowing absolutely every detail of it.
It is some nice gold if you're able to access this jungle and clear it out, right? Clear out these 3 vision wards that have been placed, but the danger of doing so, because it takes all 4 of those hits and there's not a ton of attack speed here on the side of Ginger Turmeric, means it's really not worthwhile. And 100 Thieves next have been doing a really good job of removing all of the vision that has been attempted to be placed here by Ginger Turmeric. Really, the only thing that's working out well for Ginger Turmeric is the fact that, hey, if we're able to get those scuttle crabs, they at least can't be removed by a sweeping lens.
Yeah, and look at the tug of war when it comes to pulling AOE GTC across the map. Now, as that bottom side vision is being cleared up, they're just putting it all on the top side because Baron's coming up in just under a minute 30. And it's so tough for AOE, who are being pulled back and forth across the map, just trying to keep up with everything 100 Thieves want to do next.
And quite far behind as well when it comes to levels here. Of course, we can see, Sniper having the advantage there. Oh my gosh, in the meantime, look at Sniper just sitting here. Hey, that's another reason that auto attack speed really helps out. Because
it's very cool.
Taking down these objectives, taking down the inhibitor, that's going to be huge. And Sniper has had pressure this entire game. Now he gets to kind of leave his lane a little bit more since he'll have super minions navigating their way down there.
Right, it makes fighting for that next dragon that much easier because of the auto prio. Oh, wait a minute.
It's a lot of ultimates coming out, but once again, in is the Zonia's
from
Darkwings.
turn.
He's going to be able to use the ultimate. Fnatic goes in with the Cyclone. It's too much damage to the Captain Shrimps. The Zonia is being burned as well by Fnatic, who's able to use the second charge of Cyclone the second it comes
down.
up. The ultimate coming through from Captain Shrimps. It's a lot of damage to everybody on the side of 100 Thieves next. That means that Lens will go down here. Sniper has to walk away, and the rest of 100 Thieves next have to walk away as well.
That ends up being a little scrappier than 100 Thieves are used to. Their Keel, if he manages to get that one on Sniper, that would be huge, especially with Baron coming up in about 10 seconds. That's why you see them chasing for it. Jolly, Sniper, without even having to flash, is going to be able to escape the situation here. So you do buy yourself a bit of a reprieve as AoE Ginger Turmeric, but the Baron plate is not available to you.
Yep. No chance for that Baron play. And it was, you know, when we looked at the gold that was gained actually by Ginger Turmeric on the Baron that they managed to steal, I think it ended up being completely negated. I think it was back 0 just because of all the towers that were taken in response after that play. And you can see that, right? That's a big chunk of the gold that 100 Thieves has over Ginger Turmeric. 7 towers to just the 2 towers that have been locked down. But I gotta say, big props to AOE GTC because they were so much farther behind in gold previously, and they have been able to kind of withstand the onslaught here from 100 Thieves, and they've been able to turn around some of these fights and catch them out when they're a little bit too aggressive or have a little bit too much confidence in their plays.
Right, and it's still possible for AoE Ginger Turmeric to win out on team fights. I talked about existence and the displacement on that exploding cask, and I think that's a big thing to look towards here, especially if Duo King can get a nice enchanted crystal arrow onto somebody. Lens in particular is somebody you want out of the picture in these team fights, and with him being flashless, there is an opportunity for AoE Ginger Turmeric to be able to take him out. Problem is, him and Fnatic are dueling the Baron right now, and because of all that vision control we highlighted, it's looking like they're going to get away with the perfect prime.
Yep, we just saw, oh my gosh, Fnatic so very low. They're smiting at the perfect time to be able to stay alive. He did have his smite. He was just waiting for that last moment. Under these next, not only that, they're able to clear out some more of the enemy jungle, right? They have 3 dragons locked down, 20 seconds now until that 4th dragon and the soul is loaded in. So they get the Baron, they get the quick recall, and now they're going to be able to navigate their way down to that Baron pit and maybe take AoE Ginger Turmeric off of, I guess, by surprise at this point, since they do have a little bit of vision and they do now have themselves trickling down here as a team.
That's right. You're seeing the stopwatches bot. Both sides here. You know, a lot of all-in is going to come through. Sniper already uses his.
Yeah, instantly using his. I think he sees the opportunity here once he has the Mega Gnar, and there it is. Out comes Mega. Now the ultimate throwing into the wall. The bullet time on top of it. Sword taking a lot of damage. He's going to be able to use his zone. Yes, out comes the ultimate as well from Captain Shrimps, and that's going to be a lot of damage. Might be enough to take down Fnatic. No, he's able to smite right there. The teleport also coming through from Sniper to try to secure this kill here. And no, to try to secure the end of the game, my apologies, he actually TPs into the base, already 1 turret down. He's looking to stack up to Mega Gnar once again, and it's only existence for the next 27 seconds. That is the end of the game here for Ginger Turmeric. All the rest of 100 Thieves next coming here into the base of AoE Ginger Turmeric. They're not even going to try to pad their stats here. They're just going to end the game and say, on to the next one after 33.5 minutes.
And what a game 1 it was, Jolly. 100 Thieves next asserting their dominance once more, as they are now 1 game away from going to PGCQ Finals for the 3rd time out of 4 tournaments in summer. What ridiculous performance coming through here. AoE Ginger Turmeric had some good looks in the earlier parts of the game, but for the most part, it's been all 100 Thieves, and it's all at their pace.
And even, I will say, even towards the latter half of the game, right? They were very far behind. They were able to at least minimize some of the gold lead, right? Yes, they ended up, that Baron play being able to be picked up by, just Lens and Fnatic made things really easy for them because there was no possibility for vision to be held there by AoE Ginger Turmeric.
Right.
But they held off quite well. Like, that is absolutely commendable. There are teams who will fall less far behind, basically, to a team like 100 Thieves next and still let that kind of get to their mental or snowball out of control. That wasn't necessarily the case with this one, but something is going to have to change going into game number 2 if 100 Thieves next is going to see a game number 3 instead of just a sweep on this series. It's something you want to see. It's something everybody at home, of course, wants to see. And let's take a look at the damage charts right here. My goodness, even though this Karthus was kind of struggling, we saw how many kills he was able to pick up and what a difference he made towards the latter half of the game. But it's consistency and damage, and it's aggression across the map that worked out well. 400 Thieves next, as we can see that gold kind of dipping up and down a little bit. And that's where I'm talking about that 30-minute mark, right?
Yeah.
Where it kind of jumps back up. It wasn't, it didn't make a huge difference, of course, but being able to kind of minimize 2,000-3,000 gold is absolutely massive when a team is that far ahead. 3 times the kills that were held there by 100 Thieves next. So, a big victory for 100 Thieves. Not out of the woods yet, though, if you are AoE Ginger Turmeric. So we are going to check in with the desk, see what they have to say about game number 1 before we hit into game number 2 in this series.